when I was in final year, I used to have, where I was staying then, there used to be this one small boy. I think then he was very, very small. He was probably 14 or 15 or so. So there was one evening I was working just after that. He tried finding something. I asked him, what's up? What about your exam? Blah, blah. He said that he's not going to school again. Why? He said, why should you go to school? Like, I know him. I practically knew where this guy was. 8, 9, 10. Tell him that, why should you go to school? That he's seeing those boys there. You just wake up, stand on the streets, and be collecting money. He told me about it.
And those people have...
but that's what I want to do. I want to be, what do they call it? Agbo when I grow up. He was not too kaput. In fact, at that point, I don't know, for some reason, I had no word for him. Because I was shocked.
Have you seen the way those people eat?
And those guys, because I used to see them, the way they eat, even my car is like that.
2 big meats, roundabout, extra beer.
Hey! You're saying that even we're not getting pressure from Agbero.
She got a BBL.
BBL.
Okay, so please, what exactly is BBL for those of us who do not know?
Like, do your yash? Make your yash big.
What does it
was
mean?
BBL
and tummy flat.
Big border
means,
Lagos.
It means Brazilian butt lift.
You see big bum bum, you don't appreciate it.
No, I'm just talking to her.
Subscribe to bum bum. How will I subscribe? See bum bum.
All right, so welcome to the hottest show in the land. My name is Ade Folami. This is the Darkpore Show, where we help people start new things, new careers, new relationships, and new families. Right? Some people have met the loves of their lives on this show. All right, so let's hope some of you do too. All right, today we'll be discussing how to handle the pressure in Nigeria to succeed and grow. Okay? And I have with me in the studio my co-host.
Obviously, my name is Agogo Udi, and I'll be co-hosting the show.
All right, today is a great show. So we have a couple of guests, so let's meet you.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a tech blogger. You can catch me on Instagram, strategic blogger.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Olivia Awile. I'm an event manager, a caterer and entrepreneur.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Obasumi Grace, and I'm an entrepreneur and also a spoken word artist.
Hi, my name is Agnes. I'm a printer. My ID name is Agnes Ifeanyi.
I am Lois. I'm a student and entrepreneur and a fashion designer also.
Hi, my name is Miriam Kusamo. I'm a student. You can send me a DM or friend request on IG, Candy_smile, or Facebook, Pink Apple.
Shoot your shot.
Oh wow. Hi, my name is Olabisi. I'm a fashion designer and entrepreneur. I'm a student too.
My name is Oji. On LinkedIn, Asu. I'm a software engineer. Yeah, I make things happen.
What? Okay, it's nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Animasha on Dam Larry, a risk analyst, and I'm not an entrepreneur too. We are working for people that are winning on salary.
Yeah.
I go by the name Emmanuel Samson, an ear therapist. You can see from the air. I guide you on your air and how to use your air well, and even know your air type. If you want to know things about your air, you can.
I've seen.
I'm going to pay for the ad, Baba.
I want to know things about my L.
You won't get
I am AY for short. No.
No long story.
Yes, you can't catch me anyway.
Hi, my name is Dasola and I'm a student, also an entrepreneur. I'm a model as well.
You're welcome to the show. So today we'll be talking about how to handle pressure to succeed, how to blow. Over time, human beings will set milestones to achieve at certain ages. And times when we fail to reach these milestones, it brings a certain feeling of failure. Okay. Social media and the internet has made it worse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so how?
Because most of the time when you log into the social media, LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, you only see one person who's like same age as you, and the person seems to be making waves globally, conquering the world, and you are just in your room looking at see my mate and all that. So it brings stress, depression, a certain kind of feeling of failure among young people and so on.
And we're here to tell you that you're not worthless. All right? We're here to tell you that your life matters. Maybe not to everybody in the world, but it matters to some people. And I guess it matters to us that we had to sit down and create this show, all right, to talk to you. So today we'll be reviewing an article. There's an article in the Punch. The Nigerian children are the most
under pressure to succeed globally.
Okay.
And that was a study conducted by UNICEF.
What year?
2020.
Okay, so let's go to the show.
We'll take 2021.
2021, so 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So let's go to the article. All right, so this was on the 18th of November 2021. Nigerian children under most pressure to succeed globally. This is a UNICEF article. All right, so we'll go paragraph by paragraph and then I'll take your responses.
The United Nations Children Fund has said that Nigerian children and young people feel under the most pressure to succeed globally. UNICEF based its finding on an international survey conducted in partnership with Gallup, released ahead of World Children's Day, marked annually on 20th November. According to the survey, young people in Nigeria face mental health challenges, with 1 in 6 young Nigerians aged 15 to 24 saying they often feel depressed, have little interest in doing things, or are worried, nervous, or anxious. Also, as much as 85% of those surveyed said they feel a greater pressure to succeed than their elders, making Nigeria the highest of all 21 countries surveyed.
Okay.
With young people in Lebanon a close second.
Let's jump right in. So, do we agree with this? And was anybody surveyed? Was anybody in this studio surveyed? Was any of you part of this survey?
Survey.
Did you join this particular survey? Is there anybody who happened to be?
But currently I work with UNICEF Child Protection Network.
Okay,
So
I thought you said you are the president
I just don't want to intrude. I have a lot of things going on. I just don't want to.
Okay, so you work in UNICEF. Okay, so let's.
So, though it's a law firm and an NGO that's working with UNICEF and CPN, Child Protection Network. So I would say from what we've been doing in the office, it's actually true. Because I can remember one of the cases we went for, we rescued children that are depressed or, things like that. So I remember this little boy of 14 years old. He doesn't sleep at home. He's always in the garage. What is he looking for? He's already driving Marwa, like tricycle. What is he looking for? We could trace his problem to there's nothing in the house, the family background, and he wants to just make it. And host of others that
fall in the same category.
Yes.
Is anybody else who sort of like agrees with that? You feel that you're under undue pressure to succeed?
Well, to me, it's not depressed. I'm just trying to react to. He's driving marijuana.
I mean, when we
wait, let me finish now.
Okay.
And, in the neighborhood, we see marijuana drivers that are popping music. Yes, now. So I don't think the guys. Probably he's just underage and he's not depressed now. He's enjoying his life.
I just said
we'll come back to that story so that we don't get. We'll come back to the story.
You can.
The question is this: is that do you agree with the article? The article assessment that Nigerian children are extremely under pressure to succeed globally.
Yes,
Thanks to social media.
Mathematics, if you can't disprove something,
yes,
you can't disagree with it.
Yes,
exactly.
So. No,
we're asking in your own experience. We're talking about from anecdotal
experience.
Yes, your own experience.
Yeah.
It's going to be extremely hard to disprove this because you are not, unless you can be born into 2 different countries.
Yeah, that's
or you can't
do it.
Okay, so let's continue with the article then.
The survey titled "The Changing Childhood Project" was conducted among 21,000 people in 21 countries, including Nigeria. It is the first of its kind to ask multiple generations for their views on what it takes to be a child today. Apart from mental health challenge, the survey also examined opinions of young people regarding their world view, trust in institutions, importance of equality, climate change, digital benefits, and risks. Finances, among others.
Let's jump to the next paragraph.
Commenting on the outcome of the survey, UNICEF Nigeria representative Peter Hawkins noted that the concerns of children and young Nigerians should be taken into proper consideration. He advocated that those concerns should serve as a guide to Nigeria's policymakers. Okay, he said children and young people in Nigeria clearly have a high level of concern about many and varied issues compared to their peers in other countries. We cannot bury our heads in the sand and hope that these concerns will go away. We need to take action, and the first step is soliciting their views. Really listen closely and allow their concerns and ideas to influence our policy decisions. The future of Nigeria belongs to its children and young people. They have the right to be heard, have their needs addressed, and their solutions explored. It's only through commitment to understanding and investing more in our children and young people's present and futures that we can maximize every child's potential and ensure they have a full and happy life. Meanwhile, senior partner at Gallup, Joe Daly, added that it was essential for the voices of children and young Nigerians to be heard, stating that the survey had helped to know what is in their mind. However, the older generation
He however urged
the older generation to ensure a better future for the coming generation.
I think the next paragraph is extremely important, right? The next paragraph. And so let's just pay close attention. Next paragraph says,
we cannot know what is in the minds of young people if we do not ask them.
Okay.
UNICEF's survey.
Pause here. One of the good things about this show is that we get to hear, a lot of times we get to hear opinions that we don't agree with. I would say that 90% of the opinions that are voiced on this show, most people disagree with it. And it's interesting to hear, to see people's views on things that you consider day-to-day beliefs. So I would ask this question right now, and I want us to be honest in our responses. In what way do you think people are generally under pressure to succeed? In what way? Okay, maybe we should let's break it down into categories right now. For young people between the ages of 18 to 35, women, and for young men between the ages of 25 to 40, who happen to be our core demographic, what categories or what areas do you think that people, your peers who fall into this category, what areas are they largely under pressure the most?
Money.
Family.
So everybody's saying money.
Family.
It's all about
marriage for the ladies.
Hello, it's money.
For the ladies.
Relationships.
Is that?
Money.
Everything still boils back to
Money.
family.
No,
Family.
Oh, jeez.
Because your family, your marriage, your money, your whatever starts from the family.
Yes.
So if you are not having any threats from the house, you won't be like, I want to get married. One, nobody's chasing you out and you are in this happy home. So you won't be under unnecessary pressure to say, I want to get married. And the same thing goes to the academic aspect. If they are not comparing you in see your mates, they have graduated, you would not feel the pressure, so to say.
To succeed. That's your opinion. When she was talking, you were shaking your head vigorously.
Yeah, I don't think they have to pressure you from home before you can, feel pressured. Like, you can feel pressure, like,
From peers.
As you step
from
outside.
your peers, from your friends. You see social media, like you're seeing all these things, like.
But that doesn't disprove our argument.
Yes,
right?
It does.
Well,
being pressured from outside and social media does not negate the fact that you will also be pressured from
family.
It doesn't.
I think it does. She is saying that if they don't pressure you from inside, you won't feel pressured. Why is he saying that? Even though they don't pressure you from inside,
It's like they'll pressure you from outside.
if I don't pressure you, just
I want to be sure that I get you clearly because people watching this may get confused. Are you saying that there is no pressure outside? That the only pressure people face is pressure from home? Is that what you're saying?
There is pressure from the media, right? But I'm saying the one that has more weight for me is the family, because if your family is welcoming, like this saying of, if the outside is rejecting you, your inside should accept you. So even if the pressure is coming from the social media or from peers, your family should be your backbone. So if your family is giving you the pressure, you don't have anything to fall back to and say, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm. So automatically it's increased, pro max.
What about the pressure? Families don't, from what you're saying, families won't pressure you like that. The only thing they can do is to ensure that, doing family meeting, you are the one opening the drink.
I think you need to really be real. Let's be real here. Like, I can't. There's something that happened to me recently that I don't like going home. I prefer wasting time outside because one thing, and I don't want to go home. So in that kind of situation, even when I'm not doing anything reasonable, I don't still want to go home. So it boils back to the outside is not giving me pressure or anything. It's the house.
Maybe you don't socialize enough.
Okay, so she has spoken as from my own experience. It's usually hard to argue against people's experiences. In your own particular case, let's hear you. Your thoughts. In your own experience, you feel that the pressures happen more from outside and socialization than from the home.
Yeah. I mean,
why do you say that?
Social media is like, for example, my parents, for example, my family, they're very understanding. Like, they don't pressure me to do anything. They don't put any unnecessary pressure on me.
When you say pressure you to do anything, what does that? Can you qualify
like
that? Do anything?
To get married or to have money or all those things. But immediately I open social media, I'm already like on that serious. And sometimes I go into like Instagram and I go directly back out, because I just can't stand. I'm seeing what my friends are doing. Like, I just can't stand it. Like, I don't want to put myself into that kind of pressure. So I just go right back out.
Your own is social media. It's not like you leave your house, you not see the pressure.
I mean, I do leave.
I'm sorry.
You not see Fabrici, press on. Come on for road.
And if we should look at what we are, the statistics of what we were trying to, UNICEF, whatever, I've witnessed different families. I mean, where I work, back then, I have my VP here, so he knows what I'm talking about. So I've witnessed cases back to back. By this time last week, I guess we were at the CPN program. We had all these things are always on our table, report upon report. So I'm not talking based on my own personal survey alone. There are cases I've attended to under CPN.
That people's families are putting them under pressure.
Yes.
And we're not arguing with your experience. Okay?
Apart from my experience.
Your experience and our own experience are orthogonal.
Okay.
The presence of your experience does not exclude the presence of ours.
Yeah.
Okay, we just want to understand exactly. A lot of people you don't feel pressure when you go on social media.
I mean,
that's the question.
I think
you don't get what I'm trying to say.
I understand the part when you talk about pressure from home. We're not negating that.
I'm not saying I at some point I'll feel I need to do this.
You're on Facebook now.
Yes, I am.
You have friends on Facebook.
Yes.
When you open your friends on Facebook and you see your friend's page on Facebook, you don't feel any pressure.
You see them.
I'm not saying. I think. Maybe use it this way. I say more of. It's coming more from the family.
Than the friend.
We're not arguing.
I'm just trying to explain so you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Grace, try to understand the conversation.
Okay.
It's not either or.
Yeah.
Let's assume you have pressure. What percentage of your pressures
outside
is from the family? What percentage?
Yeah.
50%? 20%?
100%.
I'll say 70.
So 70% of your pressure is from your immediate family.
Not directly,
from
because they may see this podcast, not directly.
So now we are getting
Mama, the family because you are going back home.
No, why I'm saying that is because
you are warning that by the time you are gone, so that the pressure will not
the thing is, at some point I'd let it out. Okay. At some point I'd start to say, is it because I have grown-ups, I have the married one, I have the one that is doing well financially. So sometimes I do feel, is it because me I've not, you understand? So I'm not saying they are not paying attention to some certain things or that is making me feel depressed or whatever. But I'm just saying that what is putting me to say, I need to just do something is because I know where I should be. Not because of the social media, but because of my circle.
Okay, so let's take that statement right now. We'll take that statement and we'll have to unpack it. Because you said something and what you said is loaded. You said you know where you should be because of your social circle. I just quoted you. Okay? So, social circle. You are back to what she's saying.
You see, it's your friends that are...
It's your friends that you are benchmarking yourself against your friends.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't benchmark your progress against your friends, what are you benchmarking it against?
That's why.
Why are you coming?
Okay, you know what? Take out time to think about it.
Because I don't want to say this outside the.
Yes. Take out time to think to the answer right now. I have a question for you. The question is, if you do not benchmark against your friends and your peers and your age mates and your classmates, primary, secondary, higher institution classmates, who are you benchmarking against that is placing you under pressure? So we'll come back to you. We still, in a much earlier podcast, we spoke with Dari, and in that podcast, we had a question for him, because in the previous podcast, Dari told us that they spend a particular amount of money to acquire a particular item which might be considered luxury in Nigeria. Okay?
It's out of the people.
We're not casting you, we're just stating. So the question is, all right, so I have the question. So the question we have for him, and I want you to think about it, because we'll come down to the question, and this podcast cannot close before until we answer that question. The question exactly is, what exactly? All right?
Warranted you.
No warranted. What exactly made you? All right. Consider that kind of purchase. We want to understand. We're not blaming you. Okay. That what we are calling luxury, if you benchmark it against the
social media luxury.
If you benchmark it against minimum wage, it's a luxury item. Mm-hmm. If you benchmark the cost of that against
high value men.
If you benchmark against the cost of high-end phones, it's an entry level. Okay. And that's why the issue of benchmarking comes in. But we'll talk about that. Let's come back to Lisa, because Lisa was talking. You mentioned something earlier that you have friends, you see them on yachts, you see them whatever and all that. Let's just take us through the thought process. We're not blaming. This is not. We want to understand the thought process, okay, of young people who are consuming social media in a way that you may not be. Okay, so
there's one of my friends. If you're seeing this, I'm sorry, okay?
If you're seeing this, she loves you. She's just using you as an illustration because she's the one. You are the one that she knows. Okay.
You are the one giving her pressure.
Shit.
She's not giving me pressure, but like we used to do YouTube before, like the two of us, like we were close, but our YouTube was not like doing well. Like we don't have views. Like we don't have as much views as we would love to have. But I found out recently that she got a BBL.
BBL.
Okay, so please, what exactly is BBL for those of us who do not know?
Like, do your yash, make your yash big.
What does it mean?
BBL
and tummy flat.
The
BBL means Brazilian butt lift.
Yeah. And liposuction. So now she looks so good.
Oh.
And because of that, her YouTube has blown up.
Oh.
Updates.
She's using it as, content.
Selling point.
So
it's more or less like close to like soft corn, kind of. Okay.
So there's that fact. Like me, sometimes when I look at her, I'm just like, we started at the same time, but now she's.
What kind of content were you guys trying to create back then?
It was just like challenge, like vlogs, just not podcasting.
Yeah.
It's just like.
But you soon got to realize that people prefer to watch BBL.
She just like.
She did what
in a
has to be
week.
done.
Her YouTube channel like blew up. She started getting like lots of views, lots of comments, likes, and everything. So, yeah.
But on social media, people criticize BBL.
Yeah, they do.
It's a 2 word.
Yeah,
You
they
criticize
do,
it,
but
you see big bomb, you don't appreciate it.
No, I'm just talking to her. So she made an investment.
yes,
that
you
paid off.
understand.
So how is it?
And she spent a lot of money.
Okay, so why can't you?
No, what's the meaning of that one now?
Why is that putting? I want to understand why is it putting under pressure?
Because we started together and our YouTube channel took off. Mine didn't.
To the moon.
It's not hard work that took her off now.
Yeah, but it's investment. I mean, she spent, I don't know, she spent like 4M on her surgeries.
Okay, the surgery.
It's instant.
Okay, so what I'm trying to dissect, because what I just said now is loaded. Now the pressure that is coming, I don't know. Is the pressure, is it the way she now looks? Or the 4M? Or the subscription growth? What exactly is it?
It's the growth.
Okay, now I say, but if you also have access to that 4M, you also probably do it too.
No, I would not.
And so then it's not a pressure.
It is though.
It's not a pressure, because what actually blew her was not the 4M. It was the look that changed.
I think it's the 4M because if
You don't
she
have the
didn't
4M,
get the 4M,
she won't change.
If you have the 4M, you won't do it.
That's it.
So it's not a
You can
pressure.
speak for yourself. You can't speak for.
No,
She just said she won't do
She
it.
said she won't do it.
No, okay, so let's be honest right now, all right? Let's be blunt. Okay, what exactly is the issue you have with BBL?
Yes.
Oh, I don't have any problem with it, but I just feel like I'm okay. Like I can do liposuction. I plan to do liposuction, but not BBL.
Okay, so what issue do you have with it? So how is her doing the BBL putting you under pressure?
Yeah,
Right
it's
now?
not.
No, I think
She blew up.
Okay, so she blew up on YouTube.
Yeah.
What does that blowing up on YouTube translate to? For those of
money.
us who don't understand.
Money,
Yeah.
Eh,
Subscribers.
For,
For money.
ad
for
revenue,
1,000 views, you get
sponsorship.
$2.
Yeah.
Influencing.
For each 1,000 view, you get $2. I don't know how many amount of views she gets.
She's getting a lot of
she's
views.
definitely going to earn a lot.
When was that? On which YouTube was that? When was
I
that?
think it's
That's
been a while.
actually-
It's been a while. Because people have views of 10 million, and at the end of the day, 10 million views, they get like $79.
I mean,
this
it
was
depends on.
this was a particular analogy from Mr. Beast because
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest YouTuber in
That's
the
the
world.
standard.
So $2 for 1,000 view. That was what he said in one of his
Yeah.
videos.
What I am even concerned in that is not shouldn't be a pressure to you, because I think what should be pressure is that okay, this thing I really want to do it, but I can't afford
Yeah, I
to
want
do
to.
it.
I want to have a lot of views.
No.
on YouTube.
You cannot do the bomb,
No, she
Yeah.
doesn't want to. Her preference
want
to.
isn't BB.
Eh, but so it means that she
She
shouldn't
can do it.
pressure
That's
you.
why.
She
Yes.
is.
Okay, so there's something called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance means that when you hold two views, you have a view that you hold very strongly in your mind, and then you find yourself in a situation that contradicts that view, but in a sense also is right. So people get confused because they're trying to hold two contrasting things. It's like knowing that your father loves you and also realizing that your father is a mass murderer. It's a difficult thing. You've seen the love of your father and you've experienced, you are seeing a man who has done terrible
Terrible
crimes.
things, yeah.
So most people struggle with that. Do you understand me?
Okay, I think
I understand what she's saying. Okay. In our own particular case, you want to succeed the way your friend has succeeded with her
She
views.
doesn't want to go.
But at the
through
same
that.
time, you are concerned about the BBL.
Yes.
You have reservations about it, and yet you see it as if so. If you want to succeed the way your friend has, you are forced to consider doing the BBL, and so the success which you want, all right, goes through a pathway that you do not want.
Okay, so if
That is pressure.
okay, it means that for men, it's probably the equivalent of I don't want to do fraud, but people, some of my friends are doing fraud, and they are okay, probably that.
I do it every day.
Those things don't get to me actually, but I think it's possible.
We'll come back to men, but there's a reason why we have to have this conversation, because this conversation may not make sense to you, but what she has described is the lived reality of the best example probably would be a footballer, an athlete, okay, who wants to perform better, and in order to perform, he has to use medication, performance enhancing drugs that not only are banned but that can render him sterile. And he sees a friend who has used those drugs and he's playing in the Champions League. What further even complicates is women have a shelf life from the standpoint of physical appearance and physical abilities. Physical, I mean abilities in which you use your body. They have the shelf life equivalent to an athlete. And so if you start wondering that if I don't make this money now, I might go to get to the age of 50 and start
And go and do BBL.
Okay.
Get. Right? So so that you feel that way, and you're not the only person who's feeling that way.
Yeah. Almost all the girls here are feeling.
No, I don't.
Is there anybody that feels under the pressure of, you say you don't?
I'm not under the pressure of doing BBL.
You can't discount what she has said, because you don't have a friend who has done it.
You are still a student, so
And your friend has not done it and blown.
But I see people that have done it. I see people that have done it.
they're not your friends.
But they're not my friends.
Do you have a close friend?
Paddy.
No.
5 and 6. Who
It's
has
going to
done
be.
it?
Okay,
I think I
imagine me
get-
being trapped in this small body. Is it not a pressure?
No.
It's not.
It is for me. It was a pressure for me.
We wanted to be big.
There's more.
We are not saying
I don't want us to get sidetracked. The conversation you're having is separate conversation.
Yeah, I know.
You're not lacking, and you've used a particular set of words. Okay, trapped in this small body. Okay, trapped, small body. Okay. You have benchmarked. You have a definition for what a body looks like.
You are comparing yourself to what?
So in that case, your definition of what a body looks like is similar to a
What she's
definition of
saying.
what success looks like. All right, through the pathway of BBL.
Okay.
Or the only difference is in your own case, you really can't do anything physically to make yourself bigger.
Well, I can't do anything.
You can't hard height now.
I can't.
But imagine if there was a way you could.
I think I am okay like this.
All right, so we'll come right back to that. We'll come back to your conversation. We'll come back to a conversation about that. Does anybody want to jump right in? Because she has spoken from the point of view of ladies. I understood. We know that this pressure exists, okay, but we didn't realize that the pressure is existing in Nigeria as it is presently.
That's always been, especially for.
No, I mean with regards to body modification, we didn't realize that the pressure for body mod for social media has been as
I think it has always been now. Most of these actresses, most of them will just go.
like
Yesterday they don't have this thing.
Today.
The next day I'm watching. I don't want to name, but she used to be on a popular
there's
show
this lady I
on
saw.
low cut.
Yeah.
Very fair, but she's beautiful. The next day I just saw her on TV. She has this. Hey, where is this Lekwahuku coming from?
There's
And
this
you
lady
subscribe to our channel because of
Why won't I subscribe to Bom Bom? How won't I subscribe? See Bom Bom, see me, see like. Hey, what am I doing?
all right. So you are being extremely practical, and so that kind of like feeds back into
Yeah.
what you're
she's
saying.
saying.
Because
I'm
you're getting feedback right now that process works.
I'm sorry.
Kind of, right?
That's only be working.
How will you see Nicki Minaj coming from a pool, coming up like this, and you not like that type of video?
All right, so shall we? Does anybody else have? Is there any way you can? We need to. Okay, so let me tell you what we're going for. We want to be able to distill. We want to be able to distill situations. We want to show people that they are not crazy. You probably need to. I want you guys to try to pay attention to what I'm trying to communicate. There are lots of people who, once they go onto their phones, not even when there are lots of people when they wake up in the morning. I guess that's the word. When they wake up in the morning and they switch on their phones and WhatsApp starts loading, or notifications from YouTube starts loading, or Facebook or Instagram starts loading, or TikTok. Once they start seeing those notifications, there are lots of people in which their day has already messed up. Okay? And it's a real epidemic. And we want to show those people that what they are going through they are not alone in that. Okay? And there have to be measures in which people can use to deal with it. There have to be ways in which people can use to understand. You need to have a word and a description for what is happening so that they know how to engage with it.
So, this one is not directly feeding into what you're saying, but I think directly feeding into what he was saying. When I was in final year, I used to have, where I was staying then, there used to be this one small boy. I think then he was very, very small. He was probably 14 or 15 or so. So there was one evening I was working just after that. He tried finding something. I look at him. I asked him, also, what about your exam, blah, blah. He said that he's not going to school again. Why? He said, why should you go to school? Like, I know him. I personally knew when this guy was 8, 9, 10. Tell him that, why should you go to school? That he's seeing those boys there. You just wake up, stand on the streets, and be collecting money. He was telling me, and he was serious. So it's not as if he was. He told me about it.
And those people have.
But that's what I want to do. I want to be, what do they call it? Agbero. When I grow. He was not to kaput. In fact, at that point, I don't know, for some reason, I had no word for him. Because I was shocked.
Have you seen the way those people eat?
And those guys, too, because I didn't see them. Those guys, too.
I think we saw one yesterday.
The way they eat,
That
even me,
guy.
I can't eat like that.
2 big meats, roundabout, extra beer.
Towel.
Hey!
All right, so you're saying that even we're not getting pressure from Agbero.
So it was literally at my first my side like this. I was sure the money was just piling. All it does was just to just marker, and the audacity is in the middle of the road, and then they're just giving him 200, and I think the napep that passed was over 20, and he kept on collecting. The guy's just showed his glasses and he's on designer self.
I used to have these good shoes though that they are okay. So we are talking about that. I don't want to. All right, so let's do it this way. Let me just punch holes in the Agbo situation real quick. I'll punch holes for them. Okay, I'll punch holes for them. All right. If there's a particular movie called Margin Call. It's a great movie. It's one of those underrated sleepers. If you have time, watch it. The movie talks about generally most businesses. A central character in the movie said something. He said the movie is about the financial sector, and now some organizations saw a financial firm saw the collapse in Wall Street ahead, and they quickly got out of the market before other people did. And in the movie, the lead character said something. He said, in this business of ours, there are only 3 ways to succeed. Okay? Be first, be fast, or cheat. He was talking about the financial system. He said that he's sure that he does not want to cheat, and he does not want to be smart. So the only way is what? To be first. Do you understand? So the point I'm trying to say is there are opportunities that open up, and those opportunities do not respect whether you are educated or not. In those particular industries, tax collection or extortion, there are opportunities that exist there. Okay, you can make money being a tax collector. There's a downside to it, right? A lot of them, they have to do things to keep making money. You understand what I mean? If you go to most states, each particular revenue collection point, they have a target on a daily basis that they have to remit to the state. That particular revenue, you'll be surprised that they may have to remit 40 grand for that day. So the guy has to collect that money, pay it to the state before he starts collecting his own. Do you understand me? I just said that aside so that we do not put ourselves under the undue pressure of counting the money in people's pockets. However, the fact that they are eating loud and eating lavish, it also comes at a cost. I'm not trying to discount it. Okay? MC Oluomo, you know the number of assassination attempts that he has had on his life. Do you understand me? So we're not discounting, but we want people to know that if you go down some certain paths, we want to show them the sides that people do not show you.
Those things don't end well because I went to public secondary school. Public primary school, do you understand? So, and I school like my house is close to Black Second Gate and all that. So I have some of my friends that dropped out in secondary school. When they dropped out, they were just doing all this Agbo. So I saw them evolve. It's not as if they're my close friends, we still talk. I saw them evolve. And while I was going to school, they were doing their own stuff. And it looks as if they were balling. When I was seeing Shaggy with my slippers, trekking Second Gate, they seem to be wearing designer and all that. But 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, by the time you see them again, that life doesn't pay. So many, I can't count. So many. So that stuff in the long run, like you said, it doesn't.
I would say this: we're not here to castigate people. You may tell me that there's something wrong in what those guys are doing, tax collectors. I will tell you that it has always been like that throughout history. The people who are strongest, all right, can extract resources. If you are ready to go out there and fight and punch people, and could you understand? I'll translate. If you're ready to go out to go and eat people's eyes, to punch them in the face, and to grab things from them, all right, to hijack from them, you would have a lot of money with you. Unfortunately, in the long run, also, you also have a lot of people that you have hijacked things from, and they won't just leave you like that to be walking up and down.
Nemesis.
Yeah, so a lot of that you do not see that side. Okay, but we're not having the conversation. We'll come to the conclusion of people's lifestyles. Okay, the conversation we are having is the pressures that young people face to succeed. You've identified 2. The first is using your sexual appeal to get ahead. It's not just YouTube alone. People have passed exams in university on the back of sexual appeal.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's correct.
The second part also has to do with money. People can do all sorts to make money. Okay? So That's the conversation we're having.
Personally, mine is the pressure I get is basically from family. Still boils down somehow to what she said. My mom is this kind of person that she's very calm, she's cool, but once her friends come, see what my son did for me. See what she will not stay. When the person has gone, she will not stay. Yeah. And my children know. Like that kind of thing. She's indirectly trying to, she won't say it to us like, this is what I want you. She will say, see what this person's son did for her. God, I know you make my children like that someday. So indirectly, it's putting pressure on me. I want to do more. I want to be better. Apart from that, I always want to keep up and put up to standard whenever we have a family reunion or gathering, because I know that I'm going to see my cousins. They will be in that kind of that setting. They will be there and we'll be spending days together. This one will come with a ride. This one will come with this. This one will come with that. So I was like, before we meet, before I get to that, I want to upgrade. I want to be better. You understand? And the kind of uncles I have are people like, once you sit down, they will ask you, so what are you doing now?
Damn.
What is it? And when you give them, tell them what you're doing, they'll say, how is that bringing money? How is that fetching money? Are you sure? They want to know. Basically, what they just want to know is what's going on with you. What is that? They don't care. They just want to know if you're doing well or not. At your back, they can just see that our brother's daughter or our brother's son, she's you understand? So that one is pressure. It's another pressure on his own that comes from.
So what does that cause you to consider doing? Because she has told us a complete story. What you said about the Agbero was incomplete. I'll explain why. In our own particular story now, I want to narrate so that you would see. Let's bring it full circle.
Okay.
In the story she mentioned, what Lisa told us was that she had a close friend in which they were trying to get better on YouTube through travel content. And eventually, the friend went to do surgery to become more curvy and shapier. And she's doing all these dressing videos or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so the friend is doing dressing videos or whatever, and then she gets lots of views. And as a result of seeing what her friend has done and seeing the results of her friend's actions, she is considering doing the same thing. But she does not want to do it because it's colliding with her personal preferences. That is direct pressure. Okay. In her own case, she told us about the circumstances she finds herself. Okay. Saying that she is being trapped in a small body. Okay. There is nothing physically right now that can be done to make that body bigger. So in her case, she has more acceptance. In the conversation we had about the Agberos and all that, it was brought up that Agberos are hijacking and they are eating. These are like the local tax collectors that collect from bus drivers and the rest, and they feed fat. I did not hear from him that it has made him consider becoming an Agbero.
No.
So you're not feeling the pressure to join them because you can see directly that the guy may be eating fat, but you understand that it comes with a daily cost.
Yeah.
Most of them, their teeth is not usually complete. You understand?
That's the cost.
So, but in your case now, the story you've said now, we can't see that. All I have heard is that you have nosy uncles, which everybody in this studio has.
That's the thing. The thing really made me. I was determined to not just focus on my events and catering business alone. I had to start doing so many things.
Was there any of your uncle's children that was involved in armed robbery?
No.
They are asking you that question. Did you consider?
No.
Was any of them collecting? What's that called? Is it Deve? Deve. There's nobody like that.
No.
So you probably don't like the way they spoke to you, but that's not direct pressure to succeed.
Personally, I don't like intruding into people's business to find out what they do to make money. I just know they are doing well and they are really doing well. So I want to,
And they are showing they are doing well.
and they are showing me that
You
they are
don't know.
doing
They are
well.
not showing they are doing well.
Eh?
Sorry, sir, I have a question.
Wait, please, sorry, let me. Sorry. So it really motivated me, and that's what made me to start doing so many things. I had to go learn so many skills. That was when I started going into packaging of foodstuffs and all that. And I was also doing it for them to see that yes, I'm better.
If they did not ask you those questions, would you likely have done those things?
That is a good pressure.
Yeah, maybe no,
Maybe not.
but it motivated me too in a way.
Yeah, motivation.
I think
actually.
okay.
I want to ask. You haven't said anything so far, but I noticed that when we were talking,
So,
I'm talking about Agnes. So,
like the question I want to ask, maybe to help the question, like pressure, does it have to be negative? Because the way the thing is going now, it's showing that
That's it.
since our own is negative, our own is positive, it's not a pressure.
No, it's still pressure.
okay, when you say that, what do you mean by negative? Because I don't understand.
Like the other lady, she said her friend did enlargement and all that.
Why is the DBL negative?
No, like maybe it's something not so morally okay for her.
I'm wondering why is it negative? What's the definition of negative?
Like
Society doesn't
not
accept
good.
it.
maybe it's not totally acceptable.
By society.
What is wrong? Why is it not
that's all.
acceptable?
It's just society believe. I think it's society
Like
believe.
just anybody cannot just come out and say I did,
IDP,
but
yeah.
it's not something everybody can say I did.
Is that the reason? Is that your
No,
what's
I'm
your
not-
issue with it?
I feel like I have enough.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I'm just trying to like maybe I should get the picture well. Like our uncle, she feel maybe directly or indirectly, they want her to what do they do now? What are you doing now? And she ran. Our friend is so it's looking like a negative and a positive kind of. Our own is looking like something anybody can accept anyway. But I can't enter organization and tell them that I did body enlargement. Yeah, give me job. So that's what made me like. Is pressure always
I understand
negative?
I understand.
Or
Mr. Agogo Udi, right? Do you want to respond to that? But I want to take a thought because when you were talking, Mr. Agogo, you respond to your negative and positive about pressures, and then I want to hear Agnes's response to when she was talking.
okay.
Well, it depends on how you see it, and depends on perhaps who is pressuring you. If someone is pressuring you, you'll say, for example, you see your classmate who is involved in perhaps fraud and all that, and you feel that okay, I want to go and join him in this particular thing. Perhaps you can say that's negative in a sense. But if it's someone that's doing something legit and he's been successful at it, that can be a sort of motivation. Then perhaps follow his path to say, okay, if I learn this thing, if I develop myself in this aspect, I can get to this level. I can measure up with my friends and colleagues who are doing well, legitimately, and so on. So it just depends on who is pressuring you or what the person is doing that make you feel under pressure or that puts you under pressure.
So if
some,
I
it's
get
just
you
Canada.
well, it means better word for positive or this thing is motivation.
It can
No,
motivate
I would say that. Listen, you can't. Whether you like, when people motivate you, a lot of times they are trying to actually pressure you.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So let me just read the definition of. There are two definitions of pressure here. Okay, so I'll read one. The first definition is continuous physical force exerted on or against an object by something in contact with it. The second definition is the use of persuasion or intimidation to make someone do something.
Yeah.
Okay, I can put pressure on you to do something good.
Okay.
Okay, I can tell you, I can ask you, please do this for the good of the country. It doesn't necessarily. We're not talking about the outcomes. I'm not talking about whether you consider the outcome morally right or not. Now,
Okay.
we've defined the outcome. The outcome is success or blowing.
Okay.
Okay, some people may define success as being famous.
Okay.
Some people may define success as having lots of money. Some people may define success as having lots of girls. Okay, but the outcome is the person by standards of society, regardless of whatever you consider that society is, this person is considered successful.
Okay.
So now the question is, and that's why we're having that conversation, because a lot of people, by virtue of where they are in their lives, they will not meet with fantastic success. It's not possible. Right? Everybody in the society cannot become a billionaire, except maybe in a country like Zimbabwe. Shout out to the people from Zimbabwe who are watching this, where they have billionaires who spend billions to buy a loaf of bread because their money is useless. You get? So everybody cannot. It is better. It is easier for you to come to terms with reality.
Okay.
All right? Okay, so.
Okay, I want
Yes.
to.
Yes. We'll take let's just. When she was talking, you were shaking your head in agreement.
Okay, you mean based on our business, when she was talking about business, or to me, well, I don't know, maybe it's pressure or not, because I'm also into business also. I'm a printer, I design. But I have a friend, a guy, he's very good, very, very good. I'm also good in my own aspects, but if the guy should design, everybody will be like, wow, it's nice. If I should do mine too, people will be like, wow, it's nice, which she too can testify to it. But I want to do more better than him. Sometimes, if I said, okay, I want to do something like this, but I'll be scared that, okay, if I should do something related to the guy, so maybe people will think maybe it's jealousy or all the stuff. But I don't know how to go about it in a way that people will not feel that, oh, she's jealous, like copy, all the stuff. So, I don't know. But when she was talking, like, she said maybe her uncle, like interfering to her own. But to me, it's not a pleasure because, pressure, because you can do something that they will not really interfere, like poke nose in your affairs. And it depends on how you carried yourself. And if you don't give them the attention,
they will have audience too.
No, their family, definitely. They will
to
always
me,
interfere.
I am not the type that love getting closer to family.
So family will always interfere. So
I don't give them the
they
chance to do that.
Whatever.
I don't give them the chance. Most of them knows what I do. So because I don't want to poke nose in your own affairs, so don't poke nose in mine too.
Do you poke nose in their own?
I don't poke nose.
No, it
like
depends.
I said earlier on, whatever they do to make money, it's not my business. I don't poke nose in other people's issue.
Yeah,
but basically,
some people have said that family generally are people who want to know what
you're doing.
It's normal.
Yes,
It's
it's
just
normal.
Some people
It's not normal.
They just want to know.
Yes.
So even if you don't poke nose in their business, they want to know what you're doing. So what are you
Even
doing
if they don't
now?
ask you directly.
Now, it
They
depends
will
on
find
you.
out.
Know how to take
Isayewa,
it.
you were about to.
Okay. We for depression and what have you, we said we were able to benchmark on family and the social. Media, blah blah blah. So now, how do you put this? At some point back then, while I was teaching during that pandemic period, I got frustrated. So, and I just hated the profession. Like, okay, what do you get to gain at the long run? No gratuity, nothing. And I think statistically, engineers are the top earners in the world. I don't know if that's correct, but I think I saw one article like that. So I began to feel like, okay, because I've seen it played out. Like teachers taught set of students, and those students graduated and went higher and came back and still met the teacher.
In that same position.
Yeah, so I felt like, okay, and what made me realize, because I want to be able to benchmark what happened, because I was actually very depressed at that point, and I don't think this is my thing, this teaching, everything is my thing. I don't want to teach anymore, and I think the previous show we had, I think some of my colleagues came on this. So but it was the social, I think the pandemic that brought that to my face. So how do we benchmark those things, things like that? Like, okay, during example, the World War II, or the World War, something people working jobs, and the World War II must have had impact or effect on their job. How do you benchmark that? Because we have been able to benchmark on family, social, and media impact, and so how do you, I don't think you.
I think
you
the
get
What you're trying to say is that you're saying people that are doing
global career.
careers, they might feel that the career is not that lucrative.
Yes.
Compared to another industry or compared to another careers. For example, a teacher is not as lucrative. Being a teacher is not as lucrative as being an engineer.
Yeah, that's
I think the whole thing he's saying now is like a global problem. How does we reconcile that?
Okay, I think she's getting
now.
that. The global, okay, we know that family gets to as an influence, or how do we, the topic is that it has to do with a particular person's
for pressure.
Yes,
I'm
pressure.
confused. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me
explain.
Globally, how does a global incident
Global
pressure you
problems.
into
Changing your profession.
exactly? That's what I'm.
I think I have answer to this.
Wait,
Okay.
sir, do you understand this
wait,
point?
let's
Do you
hear from
understand
Ochi.
this point, sir?
I think I understand this point.
No, let me be urgent
Okay.
to rephrase
I
this
think I understand
point.
this point. Now, I think what he was trying to say is, okay, I think last year, there were some, for example, some industries like tech, they had money, people were investing in that industry last year. So there were lots of jobs, and people who had those jobs, they were earning high.
Yeah.
So some people who were in banking, they were switching jobs. People were in other kind. Is that what I think that's what he's talking about?
Yes, and how the global
is basically
incident gets to affect
Individuals.
yes individuals.
You can't do about anything else actually. It's global.
it affects individuals.
So
Okay,
so
let me
okay.
just get it straight. Okay, family gets to affect people.
Yes, which is local.
Like she said now, she said that family puts her under
I
pressure.
get that. Yeah.
Okay, and
Friends.
said social media platform puts
Puts people under
people
pressure.
under pressure. Now I think now that the global incident. So I think it puts
It puts people under
yes,
pressure.
especially
Yes.
as regards their job. That's what.
Economical.
So what do we? Okay,
What do we do?
How do
exactly.
we reconcile?
All right. So I would say this. Does anybody have any any response for him?
I think I have a bit of response. This response was in my mind, which is career pressure, which I was trying to career pressure. Like
What do you mean by career pressure?
The kind of job.
I am happy to announce that I'm starting a position at Google next week.
As what?
The salary is
My God.
As what?
$18,000 per quarter. You are pressured.
Career
I know
pressure.
that.
Exactly.
At that time, if okay,
Well,
are you thinking
that's peer pressure.
it's
It's
not
peer
pressure.
pressure. Yes.
But it has a link with the career.
It's career
I
pressure.
will tell you that it's a version of what she said. It's a version of what she
it's a
said.
version of what you said.
What she said exactly.
But this one is profession, I guess. This can be an hobby.
It's a profession too for the person who's doing it. It's real. If they earn your living through that. But let's hear the story. Let's hear you.
So it's not a story. It's a pressure. It's real. In fact, they call it at some people the state of the mess going on LinkedIn. People are written article on it. If you just log into LinkedIn, I'm happy
You
to
see, I'm
announce.
happy
I'm
to
excited
announce,
to
I'm
do.
excited, yes.
This. By the time you scroll through, you just log out.
Okay, so
Just because I say that you are not doing anything.
you're not doing anything with your life. I get that. All right. I get what you said right now. So okay, so let's to do a recap. I want to be sure that I at least we understand each other. Okay. We've spoken about the pressure that comes with wanting to look a particular way to advance your career. We've spoken about the pressure that comes with having to deal with family members who keep asking you, why are you no more successful at what you are doing than you are now? I've also come with the pressure that comes with seeing public announcements on public bulletins as to what people's jobs look like and what they earn. Particularly from people either you know, maybe you went to school with.
You know how you started.
You know how you started, right? Okay, so those are. Do we have any other circumstances? Is there anybody else who, Olabisi, are you under any pressure? Are you still in school? You're done.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not under any pressure to.
My own is not really career. Like yesterday, I wanted to go make my ST. So when I was coming back, there's this like a junior ones to me, like they're like, until Abisi, and they were, one is with a baby and another one. Another one too is with a baby. And the woman beside my mommy shop was like, Olabisi. Whoa, how many or 12? I'm not like
Marriage. Bring us back. So it still goes back to family.
Yeah. That person was not a family.
She's my mommy's like
cousins.
shop. She's selling like beside my mom's shop. Neighbors. So like she just called me, Olabisi, how many or 12? I'm not like,
oh, for now.
I don't understand.
Is there anybody else who has a version of that?
No. Okay, I think he wants to.
I actually don't want to add to what she's saying, but I just want to ask a question.
Okay.
Like, can a third party actually put pressure on you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and
You think party can put pressure.
You can't party.
You go call it
50.
I want to add to what she said, because what she's saying, the pressure she's talking about is totally different from financial.
Yeah.
Yes, it's more like
marriage. Or,
yeah.
I had similar experience like this. January 1st, I was sleeping, my phone rang, and that was around 4. I was like,
midnight or morning.
4 early hours in the morning. I checked my phone. My mom's younger sister called me from Abia. I was like, for my auntie to call me by this time is very important though. Hope my grandma is okay. I went to meet my mom. I'm like, please let me call your sister. Calling her, what she will tell me is, come, this is 2023. Come and start praying so that God will show you ways. This year you will get married. So I was like, I just ended the call. I told them, see, nobody should put me any other sort of pressure this year. I won't be pressurized.
I can relate.
So I just told her until now I still tell my mom, don't put me any pressure. I don't want to be pressured into getting married. So that I think that's where
he's not pressuring you, just telling you.
On your birthday, they will tell you
January.
On your birthday, on your birthday, some people will say, you're now old. But then I can relate to what she's saying. Like I remember 2 or 3 days ago, my sister called me. She's married, and while I was in that relationship, I said that I got scammed. I somehow thought that how far? I said something goes up. How far? So she already had it in mind. I don't even know when I told her.
Something soft.
I'm very excited.
Like, so 2 days ago, I didn't tell her that there was a breakup. I didn't tell her that I was scammed and all that. So she now called me. She's like, Grace, how far? I want to talk to you. Miss, I was thinking senior star vibes now. She was like, hey. And the phone was on loudspeaker. She does say, hey, Grace, you say what to do wedding. I say, by me. So she was like, I just used that. My son was not looking at me like, did you tell her in it? I see, like, so. She now say, Auntie Ruth, Kotia, it's not a time. So I can relate with things like that when you see.
Not just even family, even friends. She knows about it. A friend of mine told me, our friend, she's married, stayed there. Your mates don't marry you. I really felt bad, but she was one who gave the girl the bass. Is it because you have opportunity?
But it's not a pressure now. He's what? Sorry.
No, it's a pressure.
Hold on.
Because you said you sit down and start thinking of your life.
No,
Mr. Oji.
I think I wanted to say, it's not a pressure because if you are dating a guy, you tell the guy, when are we getting married?
No, that is different. No,
you can't isolate this one from that
it's
one.
It's a pressure because she has already reminded you that you ought to be married.
And you can marry your boyfriend too. That one are we getting married?
That one is different.
Different.
It's different.
No, you are reminding each other.
Okay, so there's no point arguing about it. Let's just take opinion poll. How many people feel that it is different? The 2 scenarios. Have you been following the conversation? You've been following?
This
conversation is different.
It is different.
What is saying? By show of hands. What he's saying and what you guys are saying, is it different?
Yes.
No.
Show of hands, yes.
Show of hands.
Yes, it's different.
How many people feel that it's the same thing?
It's the same thing now.
Make no good for
both are pressure.
Both are pressure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so both are the same kinds of pressure. Alright, so
it's pressure.
Okay, so
pressure and pressure.
Pressure.
Okay, what I would say is this: we've unearthed different circumstances now. All right, how have you been dealing with it? Let me start with you. How have you had that particular situation and all that? I want to know how we are dealing with it. How have you been dealing with it?
I'm trying not to think about it too much because my focus is on something else now. So, not YouTube. Well, YouTube, but like something else on YouTube.
Okay.
How have you been dealing with it? Is it the girlfriend pressure, or the money pressure, or the career pressure?
Because it's
Or family
You
pressure.
can pick all of them.
And also, I've been trying to like use social media less.
For your sanity, like your mental health.
But
Trying to use social media less.
I think the social media part, this is what most social media does. For him, that's an software engineer. There's this thing about all social media that they keep collecting your data and they keep trying to put an algorithm that best fits to whatever you are keen in liking and keep posting or keep suggesting that type of a video to you. Somebody like me, if I should enter TikTok, it is movie narration that they will come.
They'll come.
Champions League match that they just finished yesterday. Premier League match that we just finished. They will show me somebody's bum. Go.
Because you see them, yes.
So I've been, those are the type of things that I've been
You
liking.
watch.
It's not like
I don't understand. Let me get you. Just this third movie narration.
those are the things that they will bring for me.
Just like you
Yeah, tell all of us that that's what you've been liking.
What's my own? If you have bum you upload, I will like. So I'm saying most of those stuff, even if they are trending or they are not trending. For example, this Hilda lady that has been cooking for 96 hours, none was sent to my own.
Because you're not interested.
Because number one, I am not interested in anything in Nigeria. And number two, I'm not interested in any celebrity that doesn't have bomb in Nigeria.
She has bomb. Yeah, have you seen her? She has
Yes, I don't want this conversation to devolve.
Me myself, my point is, for social media, once you start changing the content of things you react on
or you watch,
probably it brings out a particular video, you just skip it. The algorithm, the social media will be calculating, okay, this person doesn't want this type of post anymore. So it keeps shuffling it out from the type of post.
That helps you for video content. It doesn't help you
from seeing my
friends.
So I think
if you are following your friend and if our friend, okay, she said something right now. Listen, guys, ladies, women live in a world that you guys do not inhabit. Okay, please, whatever. If I point to anybody, don't mean it disrespectfully. She mentioned that she was 18.
She's
right?
not.
Are you 18?
No, I'm not.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, so the 18-year-old version of her, all right, can jump on somebody's boat tomorrow. Do you understand me? You don't think they can reach out to her and then she'll find herself on the boat. She'll go out on the date and she'll take pictures. Okay? So the world they live in is completely different.
You can't reach out to anybody.
You can reach out to anybody. They will ask you, do you have a boat?
I don't.
So
I don't.
So the pressures are different. For her, the pressure would be if you look a particular way, you will get access to particular places. Okay? It's reality. It's been like that from the dawn of time. Do you understand me? So it's completely different.
Okay, so like the question you asked, how do you react to the pressure? Okay, first of all, let's talk about like I said, I use LinkedIn. So LinkedIn pressure number one is now people that, of course, those things I see it as basic pressure, positive motivation, all those things. Now you check those things. What I do personally is that okay, these guys what they are posting are probably the best parts of what happened. Like the highlights of their life, probably in a month or so. So now what I do is that I create highlights for the month. So each month I have an highlight, or probably each month no matter how small it is. If I try to change this bob, you can write essay on this bob and make it look so big. I'm not saying, but I'm just using it to example. So no matter how small you put it, you also put it there. So as I put exactly now, as I put it,
so it's a game theory for you.
No, it's not. I'm telling you how it's.
So let me get right now. So your own way of dealing with the pressure.
You give out pressure too.
It's game theory now. We call it game theory.
Number one.
Pressure.
So that's
pressure for now. Pressure for there's another pressure again.
For marriage.
Who want pressure for marriage? Okay, hey, pressure. Okay, gay. Family pressure for marriage. Okay, if the girl that pressure the girl.
Why are you looking for gay?
If a girl I'm dating, telling me, babe, when are we getting married? Of course, I'll give you a date.
Okay. When do you want to get married?
I'll give you a date now. I can give you. I can give you, of course, even probably she see it.
1 month have passed, so that you want
now,
to give.
if, for example, you asked me, I don't want to be personal, but I respect this. So I can give you a date, okay, probably next year, mid next year. She asked me which date, June, July, blah, blah. In fact, I will give you a tax. Go and look for venue, blah, blah, blah. We'll make this off. Yes, now, I'm doing that. I can get married then now. But that just buys you time and saves you a take off.
Coming back to that
You
conversation.
understand? You just make it 1.5, 1 year. But by this time, we'll get married. If things work out, you have to put it if things. So if that time come up, things did not work out.
These things have not worked out. Let's see next 3 months.
Then the next one, what's the third pressure?
Additional type of pressure I want to add to these material things.
Yes, oppression.
Yeah.
Oppression. iPhone.
iPhone.
Status symbol.
Yeah.
So this man just was like, what do you mean?
I was watching.
Like, yes, material things.
Clothing.
There's nothing in material things.
Let me say, I have something to say about material things.
There's a lot of driving
I
cars.
just said something about my younger brother.
I've had colleagues who told me that when some people are bringing phones, I should not bring my phone. So you kind of tell that, but it doesn't matter. I just say, police say, no. There are phones and there are phones.
Yeah.
Yours is not part of.
I just feel like everybody should get whatever makes them feel comfortable. For me, my younger brother had his own money and he saved up to get a car. Me, it's not like I couldn't afford a car. I can. But it's not going to be as luxurious as his own. But I could. If he's really oppressing me, I would go and get it. But I wasn't comfortable getting a car at that moment because I had some projects I was working on. So I couldn't even just think of it as a pressure. But there was a particular day when rain was beating my head. I was like, Kanye, I had gotten a car. I was like, it's a lie, Joe. What do I do? Most of my work is from my room. So why should I need to leave? I'm not getting any car. It's not in my budget.
I have a question for you. Okay. So open up our eyes to understand where to justify your expense of that phone.
700 here.
I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for people who are watching.
Why you needed to? The question is, Mr. Dagi, why should I get it the way you said that you asked?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Like food, I will learn.
Okay.
Yes, public giving.
To justify against minimum wage.
Yeah. So why was it necessary that you had to save up to buy a phone?
The real truth
was
just to give myself that pleasure of enjoying a better and upgraded phone. That's just the real truth. Because I felt like I had already done a whole lot of things that matters for my future. Not me. That matters for my future. And I have never really spent something
on yourself
for myself. And I felt like, must I be reasonable at all time?
So for you,
what kind of phone was you using prior to this one?
It was an iPhone 12. And I swapped it to get a 14.
That was the question I was asking.
Before iPhone 12, I swapped from iPhone 11.
Okay. So you've been in iPhone
for you.
Actually, it does, because sometimes you go to someone whom you want to work with and they will evaluate how you look and what type of gadgets you are with. They'll feel like, okay, this guy is more serious.
Actually,
More related to
you
material
pulled out
things.
an iPhone 14 and the person said we'll work with you because you have an iPhone 14.
No.
Indirectly.
But the person would somehow give you this respect. No, they won't.
How do you know they're respecting you?
One, from your look, the way you are dressed.
How are you so certain that if you didn't have the iPhone 14?
No, the iPhone doesn't even make any, it doesn't change anything.
And we're talking about
For
the
me,
iPhone
I was
14
saying,
now.
I was talking about me getting it because I wanted to enjoy
Okay, so
and
for
do
you, it
it
was
for
more
myself.
like
Pleasure.
a
Pleasure, yes.
I think what he said, I've heard
It's
something
all.
like
So
that.
you didn't buy it because you
Of
other
business,
people,
no.
You didn't buy it because other people around you
We're using it.
use iPhones and then you wanted one.
Just wanted to appreciate yourself.
How many are even using iPhone?
Okay. All right, so guys, you can't dictate for people how they live their lives. Okay, and most of the time in everyday life, there's when you make decisions, you have to let go of something. There are trade-offs. Okay, so you can't find everything. I'll say a couple of things, and I'll start with your friend, and please take this from somebody who I've spoken to people I've met with people who have made decisions to match up to standards of their so-called mates and colleagues. The guys who are living their best life ever. Are you with me? And I'm speaking in my own case, I'm speaking from personal experience. The guys who are extremely wealthy, who live their best life ever, they do not post their pictures. I can tell you that. Okay? The guys I know, and let's speak social media. So the guys on social media who are living their very best life, who travel the world, who stay in luxurious hotels and all that, who do all that, they do not post their pictures on social media. They won't post those pictures in which you're sitting down and then maybe you have a white person in the corner. They won't post a picture of them holding their passports on an airport or so. They won't post that. They won't post the real. They will take those pictures. Those pictures will be on their phones or in their albums. They won't post them. And I'll tell you the reasoning behind it. For a lot of those guys who have resources, they realize that once they do that, a lot of people, it does what? It starts attracting people. Beggars.
Yeah,
that's true.
Definitely.
It attracts lots of beggars. Exactly what your experience was in the last podcast, in which you pulled out the phone and then people now started begging you for it. And if you have lived your life having to tell people, I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. Each time, and they see you obviously using expensive equipment, you just get tired. So they don't bother. Okay? I will not say that I am financially stable in the category of those people. I am not. I'm nowhere close. But I have taken trips, and I took pictures on the trips. I didn't upload them. Not once.
A lot on my phone. I don't even upload.
So people don't do it, and I know lots of guys who travel, they don't do that too. It's just, are you with me? Now, when I see people who do that, in a sense, to me, I think that entire trip must mean a lot to them. The same way right now, if you see somebody who takes a picture lying down on the floor of ShopRite.
How will you lie down?
Yeah.
No, when ShopRite first opened, people took lots of pictures in ShopRite.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
Did anybody take pictures inside ShopRite?
Me.
You took pictures.
I
took pictures. Okay.
No, I don't take any. I took, but I never uploaded any.
So if you went to ShopRite right now, did you take a picture?
No.
Okay, why?
That's faded.
Okay, so it seemed like a big deal at that time. So the point is, so most of the time, people will post pictures of things that they consider a big deal to them. And if you look at the picture and you feel threatened by the picture, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you probably also consider it a big deal too. If you see the pictures. So on that basis, there are trade-offs for everything. I won't tell you that your friend will not succeed. Contrary to the fact, there are lots of people who do things that you consider negative, that they end up making a lot of money and you don't face side effects.
Yes.
There are lots of people.
Of course.
There are people who steal and they continue to steal and nobody catches them.
And they are paying tithes.
There are people who do that.
Yes, no.
Do you understand? So we don't live in a world in which people steal. All right. Some people don't get away with it. Some people steal, they rob, and they get away with it. The only problem is that there are always trade-offs. And I can start giving you trade-offs. For example, your friend who does the BBL, okay, who has done the surgery she's done, somewhere down the line, she's going to have health issues. She's going to have huge health issues. And she probably, and if she's watching this, she should just take this. She probably should go and start saving up some more money, okay, to deal with those health issues ahead. I don't want to start going into all the kind of, by the time you start inserting foreign bodies in your body, there are things we call granulomas and all that are developed. I don't want to go into that. A lot of them have to eventually take it out. And the final look, they age faster than people who haven't had it. Okay, so, but if you don't see that, you probably will. It's also the same thing with people who use a lot of bleaching creams. Okay, I've seen people who use a lot of bleaching creams in their 20s. Some of you might have seen them in their 60s. What do you notice about their faces? Faces are burnt out. I met a particular man who was begging me, saying that this is the way his wife looks. The wife, the entire face was burnt out. Even if she applied makeup, it wouldn't. Do you understand? Okay, so it doesn't. There are trade-offs. The person may succeed in the short term, may not succeed in the long term. On this podcast, we judge success by how it leaves you in the long term. In fact, when you are talking about smart or wise decisions, You judge a wise decision by the long-term consequences. And I think we need to take a look at that. A third thing I would want to draw out in our conversations is, for the sake of our mental health, this idea that people are your mates or your classmates, you may need to divest yourself of that idea. People were in the same secondary school class with you. It does not necessarily mean they were your classmates. All right? I know people who I was in the same primary school with, okay, whose fathers, all right, had a lot of money in primary school. Okay? We didn't know. By the time in which we were graduating from higher institution, some of them were wildly successful. It had very little to do with their hard work and a lot to do with the fact that their parents were successful at a time when most people didn't have money. Do you understand me? I also know people who became extremely successful because of the wives they married.
Yes.
I'm not trying to give this one. A lot of times people will not analyze, will not tell you the things that made it possible for them to get ahead. A lot of times they will not show you the trade-offs. On the previous podcast, we had a conversation. And the reason I'm taking this long is because after I'm done with this, I'll let everybody do like a wrap-up so we can close out this show. On the previous podcast, I mentioned that there were two people who got high-level jobs in paramilitary organizations. Can you remember that conversation?
Yeah, very well.
And what did we say? We mentioned in that the two people, the person who got the job because he had the brother in the same organization.
No, different organization.
They had brothers in different organizations, rather. And then the brother in one organization did a swap. So brother in organization A could not hire his younger brother because of nepotism. So he went to organization B and told him, I have a slot in my organization. If you create a slot in yours, I'll hire your brother. Hire mine. So now you see that, you graduated same school and you compare yourself. If you cannot break down if you cannot understand the steps that people took, a lot of times you'll find out that those steps are steps, those doors are not open to you. Are you with me? And then also, and I'll wrap up by saying this, there's something called the time value of money. Everybody cannot get a 100K job at Microsoft. When people get jobs at Microsoft and Google, they are announced loudly on LinkedIn. When people got fired on Facebook, we didn't hear about it.
That's correct.
Okay, so a lot of times what's happening is this: we are judging ourselves by the highest point of people's days, not just the highest point. We're judging ourselves by the best that those people consider best for themselves. The guys, people say that Elon Musk, or what's the name of this other guy, is not the wealthiest guy in the world. You have people say that the wealthiest families in the world don't want people to know, because they're not just ready to deal with people's headaches.
That's true.
You get me? So it will get to a point, and I trust, I will say this for each and every person who is here. Okay? I'll say this. I trust and believe that we will succeed in our own different ways. For some of us, the success may not be abundant, wealth. Please, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
For some of us, the success may be sitting back and seeing people around us succeed. For some of us, the success may be having a family around us. Okay? For some of us, the success, okay, may be satisfaction in the little corner of the universe that we are changing. We are not guaranteed the large breakthroughs. Are you with me? Okay, and we should not put ourselves under undue pressure by comparing ourselves to other people. Some people will do far better than you. There's really nothing you can do about it. There's no amount of counseling, no matter of hard work you will do, you will not beat them. And largely because some things compound. I don't want to keep going stories. The Rothschild, you know the Rothschild family?
Yeah.
There's a banking family, they span across Europe. They call the Rothschild. They've been able to concentrate their wealth for the past 250 years. I think when Napoleon was fighting a battle, was it Nathan Rothschild or so, smuggled gold into London. It was that gold that they used there to pay soldiers and mercenaries for England to win the war. People should correct me in the comments of this video if I got the timeline wrong. And we're talking about over 250 years ago. You have a descendant presently right now in Europe somewhere. I can't remember his name. All right. Who the wealth has been concentrated is in his hands. Unless you can go back 250 years, you can't beat that guy.
And no matter how hardworking you are,
no matter how hardworking you are,
you can't.
Some doors will open. And I think the important thing is for us to keep our eyes focused on the doors that are open to us, and not look at other people's doors that have been opened to other people and then desire it for ourselves. It's a very easy thing to say. It's extremely hard to do. I have one last story to say on this subject, and then we'll start to begin to close out the show. There was a particular place I worked once, and I remember when I picked up the particular job to work there, I met somebody who, as far as I was concerned, was exactly my mate. The guy was exactly my mate. I will tell this story as much as possible without going into details about him, because these people are still alive and they are still powerful. Okay, so in this particular case, this person was attending. He was a physician. He was attending to a particular individual. He had been attending to him for probably like 6-7 years or so. He had a good rapport, and he had been attending to the individual every single time the guy would come to the hospital or attend to him in a private hospital. Are you with me? Then someday, that guy was announced as running for a particular sensitive position. It was a politically exposed position. And the guy won. Do you know what that means?
He has a PEP in his hand.
Do you know what that means? Let me put that. Imagine you have been physician to Obasanjo, treating him in the prison. Every single day, you've been treating him. The guy likes you. And then Abacha dies, and around that time, Obasanjo, and the guy becomes president.
You have won now.
Me, do you
understand? I am saying that there is nothing you will do. There's nothing you will do to become as successful as that guy, because it was not in his physical efforts. And so each time I had to, and the guy was down to it. He had access to that person, and the access he had to that person, he wielded a lot of power. I'm talking about he wielded the kind of power in which he could move from country to country. If he needed something, you would need a passport. You probably would go and queue
for 3 months.
For 3 months or so, you will pay. They will disturb you and all that.
They'll bring
you get the passport. You will come to him. All right. To come and physically capture.
They will come and capture.
That's the real power.
Because the guy is telling you that I am too busy. He will, of course, the question you say is, I am working with this person, and I always have to be with him. They will come physically. You want to do a residence registration, whatever. The people will come and capture you there. He wielded that power. And not only was he good, he also had very, very good public. In fact, I got to understand how he got to have that influence on that particular gentleman, because he had very, very good public relations. He was good at relating with people. He was good at it. When that person fell out of power, okay, all those things and all that fell out with him. But for that period in time in which they were in power, you could not match that guy. That guy was unstoppable. So the point I'm trying to say is, most of the time we see people at snapshots in their lives. Okay, you see the person when the person picks up a $1 million contract. Okay, and that window probably is open for 5 years. After 5 years, you don't see the guy again. You can't track. For a lot of people, to maintain that constant growth is extremely hard in today's world. You understand me? Are you with me? So, and based on the issue of marriage and the issue of pressure from family and all that, I would say I will advocate, and I'm going to say something which will scatter everything I've said from the beginning. On this show, we still believe that it's important for women to prioritize getting married early. And there's a reason for that, because it doesn't get easier to have children the older one becomes. However, if you find yourself at that particular spot, it's also important to prioritize meeting people of the marrying kind. But there's also still a limit to the decisions people can take, because you cannot force marriage on people, either male or female. We've heard so many stories, and do you understand? You cannot force a man to marry you. You cannot force a woman to marry you. All right? Much earlier, Lois told us in the story that there's somebody who likes her so much. Right? And there's nothing, is there anything that guy can do that can make you marry him?
No.
Is there anything under heaven?
No.
If he kidnaps you, put a gun to your head.
Nothing.
There's nothing.
And the guy is somewhere thinking that, let me do something.
And the guy is watching this podcast telling me that even if you put a gun to my head, I'm not going to marry you.
Brother.
So a lot of times it's important for us to tell ourselves the truth and to look at, and sometimes it means that sometimes it means that we have to look at the options that are available to us. Okay, we have to work well within those options. We have to build there, and hopefully with time we grow. We advocate that things can be built. People will get, the more you get to meet people, the more interactions you get to meet people, the more opportunities will be open. So that we won't leave anybody out with, we won't leave people with vague response. I would summarize and say this. Okay. Thank you very much for coming for the show. Thank you all for being here for this show. Okay. There's something which Lisa did on this show, and I think that we can copy that for every single person. Okay. When one of our videos went up online, Lisa commented on the video, and then she reached out to us, and she's here in the studio today. Please let's put a round of applause for her. So, if you're somewhere and you feel that well, the options that are available to you do not work, okay, there's a roadmap to getting better options, and it's that you have to increase the total number of interactions that you have with people. That means that you increase the number of people you meet, either high net worth individuals you meet. You increase the number of
if you want girlfriend, the number of girls you
increase the number of ladies you meet. You increase the number of people that you
start
meet.
Somewhere. Yes.
Okay, and coming on this show is one good way to do it. Right. So at the risk of sounding corny, if you find yourself in a position in which you actually want to meet lots of people, if you come for the show and all that, we'll have conversations with us. You put your social media handles, and people will be able to reach out to you. It's important for us to increase the total number of interactions. If you go behind every single story, you'll find out that somebody somewhere, whether competent or not, got a particular outcome through the relationship that they developed. And so I guess that's the best way to summarize it.
Yeah.
I am not sure we've done as much justice to this show as we would have loved to do today, but thank you very much for coming around.
Thank you for having us.
Grateful to Lisa, to Awele, to Grace, to Agnes, to Oji, to Dare, to Emmanuel, AY, Dasola, Governor General, Olabisi, Miracle, and Lois, and Adam. Thank you very much for coming to the show.